Ham Radio Prep is the fastest and most effective program to study for your ham radio license. Our complete multimedia course makes it easy to pass the ham radio license test, even if you're a beginner. Study at your own pace with 10 step-by-step lessons that are simple to understand and cover all of the official FCC questions. Take our course and you'll pass the exam on your first try or your money back, guaranteed. Begin your journey to becoming a licensed ham radio operator.
And there it is. Wow, the delay on YouTube today is a little bit longer than it usually is. So I don't know if that's my connection or what. But hey, May the 4th be with you guys. Happy Wednesday, May 4th. Happy Star Wars Day. I am not wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. I'm wearing a I Can't Brain Today t-shirt. I can't brain today. I have the dumb. And that's kind of true. So welcome to the channel today. We're going to be building another infed half-wave antenna. So that's going to be a fun time today. Yeah. Hope my audio's good. Should be okay. It should be okay. So anyway, I lost my train of thought, guys. Thank you for the congrats on 7 years, Don. Appreciate you being here in the chat today. A couple of quick things real quick. So on my 7-year video that I posted 2 days ago, I announced a new channel, which I'm calling Unplugged, which is going to be like off-grid gear reviews, RV life, van life. I'm going to do some overlanding stuff on it. Right now, it's kind of like it's got a larger niche than what it'll probably end up. I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff in that genre up there, and I'm going to see what sticks and kind of go from there. But I just bought a new RV trailer, and that's my newest video. That's right here. It's kind of hard to see in that view. Right here. I bought a new RV 2022 Forest River Salem FFX. And the channel right now has 670 subscribers. And when I get to 1,000, I'm planning on do a giveaway of a Jackery 500 power bank. And those Jackery power banks are really popular in the overlanding community. And that's going to be a fun giveaway. So I'm going to do that on the channel when we reach 1,000 subs. So thank you for those of you who've reached out with support of that. Got some really good feedback on the channel, feedback on the trailer that I got. As I said in my video on Monday, if this is something that interests you, RV life, van life, overlanding, that kind of thing, with a ham radio subject to it, okay? Because I am going to be doing a ham radio install on my RV trailer. If that's something that interests you, please go subscribe. If that's something that doesn't interest you, then that's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'm not asking everyone to go subscribe just so I can get subscribers. I actually want to build an audience of people who want to see videos about this subject. So whichever way it is, thank you for your support, and thanks for being here in the chat today. So I've got these t-shirts. I survived the Hamvention of 2022, Hamfest YouTubers t-shirt limited time. I was told that in order to get your t-shirt printed and delivered to you by the time Hamvention gets here, you probably need to order it like by today or tomorrow, something like that. I ordered one for Frank. I ordered one for myself, a couple for myself. I ordered one for Charlie and a couple other of the YouTube guys. And they told me that I needed to order by today so I could get them delivered to me before Monday of Hamvention, because I wanted to get the delivery on Monday because we're leaving on Tuesday. So if you're not leaving until later than that, you probably have a few more days, because they are printed on demand depending on color. It's got black and charcoal, and depending on what size you order. So, but those are going to be there. I'll probably keep them on the website through the weekend of Hamvention. If you order them that week or after, you can get them delivered. You won't have them for the show, but big deal. But then I'll take them down after that. So those are on the website right now. I don't remember if I put that link in the chat or not, but let me put this here. Boom. Right there. There we go. Bump. Yes. And then, finally, our giveaway for May, which will be done on Memorial Weekend on the Sunday video, my Sunday video for the YouTubers Hamfest, which will be that weekend. We're going to give away a Buddy Hex and a Buddy Stick Pro. All right, so Chris from Buddy Pole is probably going to come onto my stream that night and talk about those antennas. We're going to give 2 of them away on the stream that night. So that's going to be a really fun thing. Sign up there at hr2.li/freebuddypole. is the URL for that. I'll share that in the chat here in a minute. I put all these links in the description once the live stream ends as well. So sign up there. We put together our trailer promo for the YouTubers Hamfest. All the guys recorded their intros for it. Frank wrote the script, sent it to everybody. Everybody recorded their intros, sent it to me. I put it all together yesterday. Some people probably won't think it's as funny as I do, but I thought it was freaking hilarious. So I had a very good time putting that together today. We're going to be releasing that on all of our channels at the same time, sometime, maybe this weekend, sometime soon, very soon. So be watching for that on the channel as well. So, okay. Dawn, yes, GMRS Ed Fongs are back on the site. In fact, I just got a shipment from Ed Fong like Friday. We got home from vacation Saturday. The box was here when I got home, and I updated the website yesterday, I think, because I had a bunch of back orders to fill. So I did all that. Those shipped yesterday, and I updated the quantities yesterday. So all of the Ed Fong antennas are currently in stock on the website right now, but that's probably not going to last long because those tend to go fast. All right, let's get Sean brought in here and put this on here. And you are unmuted. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
All right. My second live stream for the day. So I was.
Did I miss one already today?
Well, I was on the Bridgecom live stream today.
Oh, okay.
I hosted the Bridgecom. We talked about DMR IDs and whatnot. So it was my first time to ever do that. But yeah, you guys go back and watch that if you want to. But yeah, was not about infed half-wave antennas, although we did this build on Sunday.
Yeah,
so,
yes, I saw part of it, and I fell asleep, you know.
Yeah, your sleep schedule's weird.
I know.
But yeah, good.
Yeah, so that one went pretty well, and you know, it's the same kind of NFED, the same kind of wire winding and design. So I figure this should be pretty easy for you.
Good. Good.
But I kind of wanted to talk about it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to ask you to. Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, NFED half-wave, a lot of people are kind of interested in them, and for a good reason. You know, they work on multiple bands. They're easy to use. You set it up once and you get those 4 bands or whatever. There's a potential for more than 4 bands as well. Mm-hmm. And so I started kind of designing a case for the NFED, and it's been a progression of things. In my mind, the thought process is okay, it's on Thingiverse now, so you can go download it and you can print it yourself. It's about 52 grams. So there's some people who go to the library and they print by weight. It's about 52 grams, and I would recommend printing it at a high filament. But basically, it's progressed from, okay, we have a case that snaps into place, but now we have a case that also, yours doesn't do this yet, but it has threads in it. So you could screw and unscrew this and get to access to the toroid when you need. Mm-hmm. And along the way, as you build this today, I'll probably kind of make notes on where you might be able to get some of these components if you want to build it yourself as well.
Okay. That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the threads in the case. Yeah, mine doesn't have that. So it's 3D printed, obviously. So once I thread it in there, they'll come out, but they probably won't be as easy to extract and re-put back in.
My thought process is over time, if they weren't threaded, over time of them coming in and going out, it would degrade the quality of the nylon. And that's what this is here. It's a type of nylon that's being used. Even though it's considered 3D printing, it's more of a professional level 3D print.
Okay.
It's called multi-jet fusion. And you know, I figure multiple times of screwing it, unscrewing it, it's gonna strip unless you had those threads. So that was kind of a challenge. The soldering iron has these little extensions here, mm-hmm. where you could basically put it in the thread and then bring the thread down so it heats up the soldering tip and then helps those threads go in. But it doesn't ever really turn out clean, you know? And so that's kind of one of the things that I'm working on now, is trying to figure out how to make them look clean every time. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So, you know, that's kind of one of the things that I think is cool, because then all of a sudden, if you have a problem and you need to get access to that toroid or resolder something, whatever it could be, you could just unscrew the case, make the changes, screw the case back up. And not to mention, I'm not going to say it's waterproof, but it's a little bit more water resistant.
It seems like it is much more weather resistant with that case in it than some of the other. Like this one right here, he said to put. Now, there's nothing wrong with this antenna. That's not what I'm not bad mouthing it, but he said to put hot glue over this part, and I'm like, well, that's actually a really good idea. I might put some like heat shrink or something over it, but assuming that I built it right, which I haven't put it on the meter yet to see if I even built it right, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
And so there's some people in the chat asking about things. My library uses Polylite PLA. Realistically, if you're using a PLA, which is a type of 3D filament, it may be okay, especially if it's not consistently outdoors in the elements. But then when you get into places like Arizona and even Texas, PLA has a low like warping point and melting point. So you might see some issues in that. I'd recommend if you're going to print it, go with something like ABS, which is a little bit more stronger, but it has a higher temperature of melting or warping.
Okay. Is PLA and ABS, are those both filaments that you can buy yourself and use at your home 3D printer?
You can, absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
There's quite a few different ones for this one that I printed out, and that one's been working pretty well. I used PETG, and I haven't had a problem yet, except if that toroid gets too hot while you're testing it and trying to overheat it, it will put it'll warp the PLA where the heat is dissipating, essentially.
Okay.
You know, because these toroids, they could only take so much heat or so much power being put through before they can't do anything. So the heat just starts to kind of ooze out of it, and that's what happened with some of these cases here. With a nylon case, though, you're not going to have that problem. And the reason you're not going to have that problem is it's a much higher melting or warping point, if you will.
Okay. Is what's the power rating on this thing once we get it all put together?
And so that's why I'm not going to sell these, at least quite yet. We have a lot of testing to do. By the way, by the end of the stream, we're going to get 2 of these away to people watching.
Good.
And this is how I think testing works out the best. Like, I could send this to you. I could send this to my buddies, and I could be like, "Hey, tell me what's wrong with it," and they're gonna fluff it up a little bit and be like, "Oh, it's the best thing ever." Well, so my answer to that is I've been testing this with 100 watts for a few weeks now, but sideband, you got it.
Okay.
I haven't been able to test it with FT8, but also another factor that we have to take into consideration is it's cold out here still. I mean, it was in the 30s this morning. So me at 100 watts in 30-degree weather is going to be different than you at 100 watts with 90-degree weather, right?
Yeah.
And when we enclose that toroid in the case, I guess there's the potential to see some kind of, the heat stays in here a little bit more and causes our standing wave ratio to be skewed a lot quicker than it would be up here. So
yeah.
I believe 100 watts. And what I'm doing is I'm using a 18 gauge magnet wire. It's I'll show you right here. It's BN Tech Go. And it's sorry about the contrast there, but it's 18 gauge magnet wire, excuse me. You could probably fit 16 in here, and I did it on this one. But it makes it a lot more difficult to be able to get everything in that small case. So the little case was kind of put on there as an attempt to keep this as low profile as possible, because realistically we could have made another case on this side and had 2 toroids stacked, right? But we wanted to keep it as low profile as possible, so it still fits in your hand, still fits in your shirt pocket or your pants pocket if you wanted to as well. But about 100 watts has not been a problem for me on sideband.
Good. I mean, that's typically when I'm using an infed half wave, I'm at POTA, and typically at POTA I'm doing 100 watt sideband. So I've done some POTA with FT8, and I can't remember what the last time. It's been a while since I've done FT8 at POTA, but I can't remember what antenna I was using. Maybe the Chameleon, which will do 100 watts FT8 no problem.
Nice.
But it's much less compact than this is too. I mean, it's like the Impasse 2.0 has multiple parts to it. You're not going to be carrying that thing in a backpack, generally speaking. But it definitely is not as compact as this.
With that continual power on FT8 or maybe even CW, you probably won't see but half that power rating. So maybe 50 watts, but I'd probably think probably more toward 40, to be honest with you.
And somebody in the chat on Sunday night when we were building this, because this is rated at 60 watts sideband and 30 watts, I think, 20 or 30 watts FT8. And somebody was saying in the chat, they were like, I always run 20 watts on FT8 and never have a problem. And I'm like, well, that's what FT8 is for. It's for low FT8 is a low noise mode. It's not a low power mode, because there's people that run a kilowatt on FT8, and I've heard some people come back and say, well, that's a low power mode. No, it's not. It's a low noise mode.
Yeah, we hear that. Yeah, hear that a lot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
so there's a difference between that. So it's completely acceptable to run power on FT8. You just got to make sure you don't melt your antenna when you're doing it. So
yeah, right. And that's the main concern there too, because I think a lot of people don't realize when you have that continual power, things heat up a lot quicker, and it causes really crazy, results and things to occur, like melting your antenna wire.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But,
see, there's Dawn again. I always run 100 watts on the KM4 ACK. Yeah, and I've heard several people say that, and I assume you're talking about 100 watt sideband, and that's what I'm planning to do with mine.
I believe it too, because if I just saw that there, it looks like he's probably using a T140 toroid. He's probably using 18 gauge magnet wire. If you compare the magnet wire that you have now to the one I send you, I would assume that they're pretty close in size.
I think that his magnet wire is actually smaller than yours.
Smaller, okay.
He said what it was on the stream the other night, and I forget.
Okay.
But your magnet wire is got a larger diameter. His is smaller diameter than yours is, and your toroid's also. Let me switch to this view over here. Your toroid is also a bit taller, and a bit just barely. It's taller.
Oh, wow.
Direction.
Okay.
And it's barely bigger around diameter wise.
I see.
Barely.
Yeah. But, so that is a different toroid type.
So it's a different toroid, and it's different magnet wire. So you can, So
take that and that'll be your main factor there as far as your power goes. So interesting.
Yeah. All right. Charlie wants to know, what bands are you on with this that you're testing right now?
I've been testing 40, 20, 15, and 10.
Yeah.
But also, and you're going to see on Jason's screen right now that there's two pink connectors, if you will, or those little, clips. Those were kind of intended to be able to, I should have sent you a third one, to be honest with you, but those were kind of intended to, if you wanted to quick disconnect somewhere on the antenna, and I could show you if I ever unravel this, but if you wanted to quick disconnect on the antenna, you have those in place. And then in theory, you could put in more length, or you could just close it up.
You're making it like a link dipole.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
essentially,
a great idea.
Yeah, you got it. And if you're worried about maybe losing your elements of the wire, just put some 550 cord on there or something like that. But so 65 feet roughly is what came with yours, plus enough for your counterpoise. So probably about 100 feet. And that'll get you, if you cut it correctly, 40, 20, 15, and 10 without having to do anything.
Okay.
And one of the things we should probably make note of too is that wire you're using, or that you got with it. Now this is 26 gauge wire, which 100 watts should be no problem with 26 gauge wire from BN Techco. It's a silicone wire, so it's very what's the word that you want to use? Flexible is a good word, and it's doesn't have a memory, right? So boom, and that's why this wire is really nice. But also, something I was going to mention about that though is the velocity factor is a little off on this wire, meaning I don't know the exact number offhand, but if your half wave 40 was supposed to be 65 feet, you might actually be at 63 feet with this. So it's a little bit shorter, which could work out in your favor.
I think that Mike said that about the car antenna. He cut his down to like 62.5 feet, something like that. So
that sounds right.
And and I've heard other people say that about the spark plug antenna. If you go to sparkpluggear.com, I bought his 100 watt version of his unknown matching unit, and it says to use 66 foot 6 inches, 666. I told Mike he needed to go buy it for that, and it says use 66 foot 6 inches of wire, but I find that you have to cut that down some too. So it really kind of depends on the velocity factor, because the spark plug doesn't come with wire. So I'm like, okay, so which wire are you going to use, because the velocity factor is going to affect the length of the wire. So that makes sense. I never thought about it that way before.
That definitely makes a lot of sense, and I'd like to get my hands on one of those. But with that also, I was going to mention something else. It's always that's what I was going to say at home. It's always better to cut long and then cut shorter and shorter and shorter. You could easily put another link in here, and there's not a problem because I've done it and I've messed up. But for the ease of everything, cut long and then work your way down. And you have plenty of wire there to do that today too.
Right.
And
All right,
you know,
so
just kind of like the Jason's NFED, you get to choose where you want to start, but really you have to start at the toroid. So
at the toroid, yeah.
yeah. So the
Yep,
magnet
so-
wire and the wrapping of the two primaries, right?
Right. So how much room do you suggest I measure out here?
Well,
How
since
many, how many bow fangs wide?
yeah, right. Well, since you have to wrap two primaries and they're going to turn 6 inches, 6 to 7 inches probably would work.
Per side?
No, just one side. So what you're going to do is this. Where's my magnet wire?
So 3 to 4 inches total, and then wrap it.
I go 6 inches. So
6 inches. Okay.
Yeah, just fold it back.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And this is really nice and easy to do with a wood, like a wood vice block. But basically at that point, find something that's going to let you wrap this nice and tight.
Yeah. I've seen guys do it before where they take like a screwdriver like this.
Yep.
And kind of wrap it around there.
I'm going to caution you. You should be fine, but especially because that's the end of the primary, it should be no problem. But sometimes these magnet wires here are a little bit flimsy, and that enamel coating that's on here, if it rubs against other metal, it might scratch it off a little bit. Which again, for the end of the primary is not a problem. But where you might see a problem is if it ever hit that toroid, it could cause some kind of weird.
Now that was the thing. How many twists should I do? Does that make a difference? Because we never really did determine that on the build the other night.
So I've never been able to determine it either, and I've done really weak twists. I've only done a few, and then I've done them really tight. Since I've got that wood press over there, or the wood vice block over there, I get mine nice and tight, kind of like that. Well, that's not working.
Yeah,
okay.
Okay.
But actually, that's really ugly. But even if you were just like kind of a little bit longer, I think you'd be all right.
So, okay.
David wants to know thoughts on the super antenna wire versus the chameleon PTFA Kevlar rubbed with unicorn snot.
That needs to be a thing. That somebody needs to invent some wire and actually name it that. That's awesome. So I've never used, what was the first one he said? PTFE coated?
Super antenna wire versus the CHA PTFA Kevlar rubbed with unicorn snot. Chameleon probably. I don't know.
Yeah, CHA's chameleon. I don't know. I'm not familiar with either one of those. So please publish the link for the soft flexible wire Mike is asking for.
Yeah, sure, no problem. As I understand, there's a little bit of a shortage of it in the world, but let me go ahead and grab that link real quick. And while we're doing that, I wanted to mention something else. Oh, another thing about it's really nice that you could 3D print this if you chose to. You don't have to do a 49:1. There are situations where you would want a 9:1, 450 ohms down to 50 ohms. And it should fit in this case without problem. In fact, I have a toroid over here that I could test it out with too. Let me get that link.
Yeah. Yep. My overhead camera keeps freezing. I think I know why. I can't fix it right now that we're live. So, all right. So do I need to wrap this around here twice like we did for the other one?
Yeah, you got it. Go ahead and wrap it twice. And yeah.
Actually, let me do it this way.
While you're doing that, I have a link here. This is only for 50 feet, but if you click around enough, you'll be able to find that you can get it in different sizes as well. So let me post that link in the chat. Give me just a second, because that's a really ugly link.
What would be great in wire is if they change color every foot so you can measure it easily. Yeah, that's a great idea, Don.
Not bad, not bad.
That's not a bad idea. All right, so I've got this wrapped twice here. Does that look correct?
Yeah, that looks good. Let me just check one thing here real quick. Could you, for some reason, your screen's a little blurry to me. So I'm relying on the live stream as well. A little bit of a delay. I don't think it's you. I think it's Zoom.
Oh, yeah, it's probably Zoom.
Yeah, that looks fine.
There it is. It's focused now.
You got it. Okay. So now you have that second, the second wrap of the primary, the one that's attached to the magnet wire. Nope.
This here?
The other one.
The other one, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
And what is happening there is you probably should have enough now where you're going to be able to go into, well, this is a bad solder job. You should have enough where you'll be able to go into the BNC with one of the links. Okay, so the other one that's actually attached to the spool of magnet wire, we're going to continue to wrap that. But just make sure you have enough. And really all you need is about an inch and a half to be safe.
So the other side of this. Yeah, I think I've got that much right there, if you can see that.
I think that'll be fine.
Okay. All right, good.
Great. And so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to wrap this 5 more times or so.
Okay.
And as you're wrapping that, I think I'm going to make a couple of points about it if I can remember.
Okay.
When you're counting the number of turns, so you have 2 primaries, and you're going to start counting your primaries. Well, primaries are easy because it's just the 2 wraps, but every turn you're counting it on the inside of the wrap. So therefore that's 1. It's hard to do it backwards. 2. This is wrap 3, 4, 5, and so on. So you count.
So you're putting the toroid up. You're saying that this is the top of the toroid right there with the double wrap.
I can't see it.
Okay. All right. So I've got the twisted wire wrapped on the toroid right now, and it's and the way you were showing it just now, your twisted wire is at the top of the.
You're good. Yeah, that's good right there.
Okay.
And then you're just going to count the inside where it turns on the inside. Each one of those turns would be a wrap, if you will.
Right. And how many? 5 or 6?
You're going to want 5 right now.
All right. I'm gonna.
So you'll have a 7 total.
7. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not cutting this magnet wire, so it's kind of long to work with, but that's okay. I'll deal with it. And this is definitely thicker and more sturdy, less flexible magnet wire than that stuff the other night. So.
And so
which is a good thing, really, but.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. So magnet wire could get a lot thicker, right? You can go up, this is 18 gauge, you can go to 16 gauge, which is, I mean, the size comparison from 16 to 18 is even significant, and it becomes harder to turn and wrap, right?
Right.
But also if you're looking to use magnet wire to get more power out of your toroids, you could also just consider using maybe that 18 gauge magnet wire and then stacking your toroids, 2 toroids, like I kind of mentioned earlier.
Right.
Why it would be nice to have the bottom of the case here as well. And I guess it wouldn't make it that much thicker.
Not much. I mean, I guess it just kind of depends. It just, I mean, if you're going to double stack toroids, then you're going to do it for higher power, and higher power people are going to expect the antenna to be a little bit more bulky and bigger. So maybe do another version of it.
Sure.
Give people an option, something like that. So,
and to be fair, it would be really easy. I've been getting actually along the same lines too. I've been getting a lot of comments to people I've showed it to in person, and every one of them is asked, so does this case remove from the wire winder? And I'm like, actually, that's kind of genius, right? There could be situations where you only want this little small case that holds the toroid.
Yeah.
And I guess if you wanted to do that, all you'd have to do is have a hole here for your actual antenna wire instead of what we're going to do. But that would be cool too. So it unscrews and then it pops off and whatever.
If I can focus. Okay, there it is. So I've got the 2 starter twisted wraps, and then I've got 5 after that.
That's correct.
So that's
and
7.
You'd like to try to keep them tight to the toroid. I don't foresee it being a huge issue, to be honest with you. And I see Mike out there. What's up, Mike?
Which Mike?
I don't know. I saw a super chat from Mike.
Yeah.
AI7
that's right. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, Mike. I highlighted that. I didn't say anything. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Yeah, I've got him a little bit tighter now. So that's
okay. Cool. Yeah, those look better. And my OCD, I guess I try to equally space them. You should be all right.
Yeah. I'm not going to mess with that. So equal spacing,
right?
As long as it's on there.
So the next key is since you've done your 7, you're going to go over the outside, and then you're going to go across the toroid.
So how about like over the top here?
Yep, you got it. So go over the top of the first one and then come into the bottom on the other half.
Yes. So over the top here and then through the toroid and over the bottom right here, right?
You got it.
Yeah. Yep. I'm not. I was born in a barn, but it wasn't last night, so.
You know, and another thing, I know Don's out there. Don dropped a link to 250 feet of the silicone 26 gauge wire in Discord. I'll check that out in a second.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
But Don out there has suggested in the past that maybe there be SO239 version, and
yeah,
it's possible. You know, it's definitely possible, especially when we talk
Good
about
idea.
making a case larger to stack the toroids.
Right.
So that is something, if somebody was wanting to see, I probably could like throw it up in Tinkercad and figure it out.
So how many wraps am I doing on this side now?
Okay, perfect. So let me see that real quick. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you'll just go down a little bit more, and then you're going to do 9 through 14. So
5 more.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 6 of them.
Okay.
So the reason I said 9, let me kind of point that out to you, is we were on 7, and then all of a sudden we went to 9. That wrap across is actually considered a like.
I was going to say, yeah, that wrap across was 8. So
8, you got it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, good. So I appreciate Adam being in the chat today. I'm sure he's at home cringing at my wrap job. So that's all right though.
And I got that link done. Let me go ahead and get that out there. So one of the things too, while you're doing those wraps, one of the things about that silicone wire, because we have tested it pretty thoroughly since September. Over time, there's been situations where we've seen if you use it long enough, or if it sits outside long enough, it tends to stretch. And so I can see that. Yeah, you might need to eventually maybe trim a little bit here and there, which is a good. I always recommend that before you start operating, if you set up an end fed, just make sure your standing wave ratio looks good, make sure everything's looking good. And if things seem a little bit off, I would probably check with a meter to make sure that, you know, it didn't stretch out so long where it's like all of a sudden it's not resonant on 40, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, an antenna like this it's really made to be portable, single-use type thing. It's made for POTA or SOTA or field day or something. It's not made to be it's not made to be set up and just left there. Not that you can't do it,
right?
But you know, it's not really. I mean, if you're going to set up a permanent antenna, use something with some really thicker wire. Okay, so 9, 10.
Yeah, I agree
11,
with you.
12, 13, 4. Okay, one more.
You know, MFJ, they have an end-fed half wave, which go, I think, well, they have a couple different end-fed half waves, but, you know, they have a stronger case. They have thicker magnet wire. They have way higher quality antenna wire, right? And their sole intention was it's a permanent outdoor solution. And I've left mine outdoors for a while, you know, when I was in Arizona.
I think Radio Waves makes one like that as well. So
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, I've never used it, but Gigapart sells it, and they have mentioned it to me before. All right,
so this is good that we're going through this. You're going to need to unwrap, and this is my fault, I guess. You're going to need to unwrap those ones that you just did, because what's going to happen, and let me show you here real quick, okay? When you did that over under, after you did the over under, you need to go the other way. Yeah, you got it.
Gosh, you know what?
That was my fault. I
knew that.
I'm learning how to give instructions, you know.
Well, you know what? We did that Sherry build for the All-Star node on my channel one night. Or no, we were on Kyle's channel that night. And I foobarred mine up. And then I fixed it. And Don in 5SKT, Don has said to me multiple times, he's like, I'm so glad you did that, because I did the same thing to mine, but you fixed it on stream. And I'm like, well, that's me, trial and error.
No, that's right. But that's, you know, that's the thing. And I don't, a lot of people don't understand that is as we do things and sometimes we make mistakes, that's the best way we learn.
Right.
Right. Because if you make that mistake, odds are you correct yourself, you're probably not going to make it again, or you're going to be a little bit more considerate to not make it again.
Right. Yeah. True. Okay. All right. All right. Any questions in the chat? Put the word question. It'll highlight it for me. I'll be able to see it a little bit easier. So,
So
Adam
Adam
says, yeah,
oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, Adam, let me go up to his original. He says it looks like you could just wrap without the crossover, and Adam could be right. Maybe we'll try that here someday.
What's the purpose of the crossover?
You know, as I understand, let me think. I spoke to a guy Sunday about this, and I'm going to meet with.
Stuff. There's a lot of stuff we do just because we say, well, that's just the way it's always been done, and okay.
Something about the. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I will think of it, I'm sure, by the end of the episode. Okay. Ham Radio Dude, you saw his shirt, right? I can't brain today. Well, that's me every day.
That's right.
This is me on ADHD medicine. Yeah, so right. Can you imagine if I wasn't?
Okay, so we got that unwrapped, and now I'm going to start down here and go up the other direction. Try to get my end of it here wrapped a little bit better.
Yeah, Adam says that the crossover just makes the wire come out of the opposite side of the toroid. All right, fair enough.
Oh, so mechanically it doesn't do anything. Oh, see, I thought there was a mechanical reason behind it.
Well, there's multiple different kinds of ways you could wind a wire, and what I'm thinking of, I can't quite put the words together, but depending on how you wrap the wire, you're going to have more or less something, and okay. I'll think of it. I'll think of it.
Yeah, it has no electromagnetic benefit, and actually makes it slightly less efficient.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, that's good to know. It has no electromagnetic benefit, and it makes it slightly less efficient. So, right, yeah. Hey, maybe you were right there. Should have kept.
Well, it. I still had the crossover. I was just going the wrong direction. So would you then wrap 14 wraps around it and just be done with it?
Yeah. So the calculation is like this. If you have 14 wraps and you multiply that by 50, for example, you get put the 2 on the top and 5, 6, 7, 20. Well, let me see, 2450. So 49-1. Excuse me. Let me go back to that real quick. When you have a 49-1 end-fed half wave, you come out to 49 times 50. I'm doing math on stream. 45. Put a 4 on top. 9, 10, 11, 12.
Patrick's in here getting all philosophical on us. You're not wrong, of course, but that's a great statement.
So basically what's going to happen is if you don't have the 14 wraps, you're not going to come down to the impedance that you technically should, and it might still work, but you're trying to get as close to 50 ohms as possible.
Right.
And then Adam says you'll never notice the difference between one wrapped with a crossover and one without. You might be able to measure it with instruments to measure loss, but the difference would be negligible. Negligible.
Cool. Well,
hey, maybe that's something I'll do here in the next few days.
You want to send me an updated version of this? I'll build it that way, and then we'll go do some POTA with it and test it out. Okay. If I could get this out of my microphone, my headset wire. How did I do that?
That's part of the antenna now.
Yeah. This antenna comes with a headset. Okay, there we go. All right, let's switch over here again. And I've got it. Okay, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They're not spaced very well, but they're all there. Right there like that.
8, 9. So it's hard for me to see, but 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, is that one cross, though?
This is 8. This is 8 crosses. So, okay, sure. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 right there. That's crossing over to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then after 14, it comes out the top.
In between 11 and 12, are those 2 magnet wires crossing over?
Maybe. Yeah, they are.
Adam will probably say that does not necessarily matter. But
well, no, they're not. They're just, hold on.
They're just kind of close together, right?
No, they are. They are crossing over. Yeah, I guess that one kind of. Yeah, they are crossing over. This stuff is more difficult to work with than the stuff that came for ACK antenna. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
okay,
no.
Because it's a higher power antenna and it's thicker, less flexible wire. But just as a heads up for those who might want to build this thing, it's not as easy to wrap as that antenna we did on Sunday night.
Yeah, for sure. And as you continue to go up in wire or magnet wire gauges, you know, so 16, 14, 12,
Right.
you're going to have more and more of a difficult time.
Correct.
And then when you bend that, you really risk, you know, these toroids sometimes are not rough edges, but they have a little bit of a corner to them. And if you're prying on it to try to get it to bend, well, you could actually scrape away some of that enamel coating, which could be an issue.
Okay. All right. So
And
it was
then
just, So it
Adam
wasn't
says,
real...
I'm correct. A crossover. That's something great to be correct about. A crossover mid secondary doesn't really matter, but looks do matter. It has to be pretty.
Has to be pretty.
Thanks, Adam. That's I appreciate that.
That's why the hex beam is so popular, because they just look freaking cool.
Yeah. But again, like these are the reasons why, and I like to do these things because I like to learn and understand things. And when we publicly bring them out there, there's a lot of great information out there where people could sit there and be like, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter. Yeah. And that's my thing of learning is as I do these things, as I show other people give me input. Hey, that's my best way of learning. So I'm more just concerned that anybody else who wants to build one will have that opportunity if they go to that Thingiverse as well.
Right. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Perfect.
Top. There we go.
Cool.
Right. How much do I need to snip off of this?
Well, you don't really need too much, just enough that's going to fit in between the end of the case and the toroid. So I would go 3 inches. Just, yeah. I'm going
to do it longer because you can always cut off more.
You got it.
Yeah.
And just another note that the toroid being a T140-43, you should be able to go on eBay, and there's a gentleman in Texas who sells them. And I bought quite a few from him. They've all been fine. The one time I had a problem, he asked me to send him a photo of the broken toroid, which I did, and he sent me a new one.
Oh, okay.
So good, I think it's like $3.
Yeah. Okay. What's next?
Very good. So, you know, the thing is, and I think I sent you those zip ties because that was a thought, but the nice thing about this is really it just kind of stays in there. You know what I mean? Especially when you put the case on. So you don't need those zip ties. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put the BNC kind of in place and start getting that all work together.
Okay. That goes in this,
right in that hole right there. Yeah. Okay. And that's another note that Mike, KMRD taught me. That hole in the future should be not circular, but it should have a little bit of a groove to it.
Oh, yes.
The way the BNC was created, just in case y'all don't know at home, let me pull one out real quick.
Yeah, it's got this, it's got a flat edge on it right there.
It's got a flat edge, and if you put that flat edge on the actual case, it makes it a lot easier to tighten it down and keep it tightened down, right?
Agreed. Yes.
So shout out to Mike on that one. Hey, what's going on, Paul? Good to see you again. Michael says, I think you should set a good example in space that turns out with calipers. As you get that in there, I'll be right back.
Sure, yeah. That's got a tight fit in there to start that nut on the back of the BNC where it's not going to get cross-threaded. Okay, let me set it down on a level surface here. Oh, definitely still cross-threaded. Working with the little case here is difficult. Okay, since there's not a slot, like he was just saying, since there's not a slot in the hole that's printed in this case right now, it's easy to turn this end rather than turn the nut. Just hold the nut stationary. And then, okay, we're going to tighten this down a bit. use these bigger ones.
Just got to get my video back up here. There we go. And so, yeah, you're going to see here that it's going to be a tight fit.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely going to be a tight fit. Since there's no slot in that hole that's in the case, I was able to just turn the BNC and get it in that way. I thought that was a little bit easier.
Yeah, it would be a little bit easier. And kind of like another thing I did is I got a Leatherman tool.
Yeah.
And I took the Leatherman and I held it as I tightened it. Now, one of the things that you're going to see is you have that ground lug that comes off the BNC.
Yes. Right there.
And
it's pointed in right there right now.
What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to orient that ground lug so it's on the same side as this hole here.
Gotcha.
Which could become, oh, cool. There you go.
No, it should be fine.
And this is kind of, you're going to see too with the counterpoise post. That's kind of it's a tight spot. And I think I could probably improve on that by moving it a little bit more toward the middle of the case. I just wasn't sure if there would be enough clearance with the toroid. Cool. Yeah, that'll work for now.
Good. Now, does it need to be down below this edge here?
Not right now. Not right now.
Okay. Not right now.
Because we're going to have to work with it and solder it. And,
Gotcha.
you know,
Yep.
480-degree soldering iron could potentially kind of create a little bit of damage on those, even on nylon.
Mine's at 750, so.
Oh, there you go. Well,
don't mess around, man.
let's keep it easy. You got a lot of wire there, I believe, the antenna wire.
This right here? Oh, no,
the
this right
antenna
here?
wire.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead and cut off, I don't know, 7 inches, 6 inches, roughly. What we're going to do with that is, just so you're aware, is we're going to fish it through the actual case now in multiple spots, and
Gotcha.
we're going to make the wire come up through the inside of the case. So the wire actually comes through, up, over, under, and then up again into the case.
And you want me to cut that instead of just using the end of it?
I mean, that's your call. If you want to use those, connectors like I was talking about, you can cut it at that point.
Oh, so you're going to put the connectors I thought you were putting the connectors on the other end to add like 80 meters to it.
I put them at the end here. I'll show you real quick. I put them at the case, and that way,
put them at the case. Okay.
If I'm operating parks on the air, it's easy for me to snap them and put in new ones, right?
Gotcha. Okay, well, we can do it that way. That's fine. I just misunderstood what you were.
You're all
describing it earlier. So okay, so about 7 inches, you said.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. All right. Okay, now I'm going through these 3 holes on this side, right?
You're actually going to start on the side of the case, and there's a very small hole right there.
Oh yeah.
It'll take a little bit of, like I mentioned, everything's a little bit. I took a little page of the Book of Adam there, I guess.
Okay, so it needs to go in here and come out through this top one?
You got it. Now, well, there's an easy way to do it, though. If you look on the bottom of the case, the hole goes all the way through, right?
Yeah,
so
I saw that. Yeah.
If you had a pin or something small, you could poke it through.
Yeah. Almost in there. Oops, nope, lost it. Okay, let's do it. I don't know if that pin's too big. Gosh, can't grab it. Oh, wait a minute. Might have just got it.
So Nick asked a good question, and I'll answer it while you're doing that question.
Go
If
ahead.
I'm setting up an end-fed half wave as a sloper, does the feed point height above the ground matter?
It's a good question.
Well, when you tune your antenna, and when I say tune, I mean like when you cut your length to find out that you have a good standing wave ratio. If you tune it in a certain configuration at a certain point above the ground, you're probably going to want to be as close to that point as possible in the future while you set things up. Like, so for example, if I tuned it here and I put it up 6 feet high, and the next time I might see either an increase or decrease with my standing wave ratio, at least what I've experienced.
Yeah.
As far as getting out goes, I don't think there's going to be a significant difference between a foot off the ground and 3 feet off the ground. Maybe Adam's going to have to help out on this one. Maybe the takeoff angle.
Oh yeah.
How do you strain relief the bullet connections? Never had to.
I can't get this through here.
Okay, not a problem. For now,
it pokes up through it, but I can't grab it with needle nose on the other end. So.
Okay, well, look at that capacitor you got there. I don't want to ruin the capacitor, but I think.
Oh yeah, well that's it. Maybe I can do it that way.
Well, yeah, let's give it a shot. I'll try it too at the same time. Got a lot of wire here.
The pin almost works, but sheesh. Let's see, put this here.
Another thing you might be able to do is take just a tad off of it, you know.
Oh yeah, strip it.
Yeah, maybe. Yep, I got mine right through that way. Nick Spencer, passed technician's exam last month, waiting on FCC. I may have a general by the time I get my call sign.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's great, man.
And then Adam says, having the high voltage ends close to the ground can, however, affect tuning. The most important rule is to tune the antenna in the orientation you plan to use it. Yeah.
That's kind of what you said.
Yeah, but I think I missed like a few of his other messages. So let me go back and read those for the chat while you're doing that. Is that any easier for you, by the way?
Not yet. Let's see if I can put my glasses on here. It might be easier to see it for sure.
So let's see. Adam says, the most important places to have height above ground for radiation purposes is the current maximum or maxima for the higher bands. And welcome, Tank. Height and configuration matter much less for the end-fed than the others, in my opinion.
There we go. I got it. Finally. Sheesh. Okay.
Awesome. Cool. Well, fortunately,
that's a weird design.
So maybe a little bit bigger on that hole. Kind of working as strain release, but you're going to want to pull some of it through. Okay.
Yep.
And then the other two are going to be really easy to fish because you're not trying to do that little L shape.
Right.
It's just down and
down
then
that one and then up inside the case.
You got it.
Okay.
Greg asked if the antenna will become available, and right now it's just kind of like a testing phase. I got to get these out to quite a few people and get some feedback. So like this feedback Jason's providing is, hey, it's a little bit difficult on that first hole. So maybe we change that first hole. You know, if somebody says, like Mike said, hey, we need this little slit on here, then and so forth. So I wouldn't expect it anytime soon, probably midsummer. However, if you want to now, you could download the case as it is on Thingiverse, and then you could print it up. Yeah, cool, perfect. Yep. Right. So we're kind of getting everything in order.
Yep.
We got to get that toroid in there, right? And so what you're going to want to do is first go ahead and get some sandpaper or a knife.
Yeah, I got a knife. Still can't find my sandpaper from the other night. Which end are we knifing? This here?
Yeah, we'll start with that one here first. Well,
Okay.
actually, don't even bother because we're going to cut that
That's
shorter.
gonna be that's gonna be too long. So
Right.
this one.
Well, you're going to want to sand away some of the edge of that, both sides of that. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Hayden, that's awesome. When you print one, if you want to leave a comment on Thingiverse or shoot me a message on Discord or even just leave a comment in one of my videos, I'd be curious to know, what you think. Now, what I will tell you is the nylon is very durable. It can break. I can tell you right now, I could feel this thing bending ways it shouldn't, but I had to put a lot of pressure on it to break the nylon. Now with ABS filament or a home 3D printer filament, it's going to be a lot more susceptible to being broken, right? Maybe ASA would be good as far as the filament goes to print it with.
Okay, I got that one polished out. Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm looking here on your kit there. Perfect. So just we're going to go ahead now. We're going to insert the toroid into the.
Okay.
Yeah, you start with that one and solder that into the BNC.
Hold on a second.
And then there's one thing there that I don't know that you got with your kit, and I don't know if you got a counterpoise bolt and wing nut with your kit.
I did. Yeah,
okay.
Right here.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So go ahead and put that toroid in, and you're going to go ahead and put that open end that you have now that you've already sanded away. Yep. Perfect. Go ahead and nope. Yeah, the one that you're pointing at. You were just pointing
this one
at
here.
You got it.
It's going to solder to this.
Nope. Turn it all around, and that's going to go into your BNC.
Oh, that's going to the BNC.
You got it, and it should fit in there pretty well, just like it was the other night on the stream. I saw that part.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess while we're at this too, before you just solder that in, go ahead and get that capacitor out. And
it's right here.
Capacitor doesn't really have an orientation on which way it has to go. So
in there with it, doesn't it?
Yep, you're just going to put it in there as well if you can fit it in there, and then solder it. See, Technocity has a good point there, and nylon PA12 is what we're using. Wicks water and will lose durability with humidity. That's good to know. And technically, it could absorb moisture as well, which could, degrade the overall quality of it. Hey, I appreciate that, Technocity. Thank you. N0HR, any guess on maximum power? 100 watts on sideband. We used it for a couple of hours the other day, but no real official words yet. Do you have, Jason, a random generator for giveaways?
I just used the one on just the Google one.
Cool.
I don't have one built into my software. No, that one you guys use on StreamYard is cool, but I don't have that.
Sure.
Okay.
That's looking good so far.
I think that's okay. All right, let's get this out.
Don says he could run 1.5 kilowatts through it, and I say for about a quarter of a second, Don.
Yeah.
And so while he's soldering that, just if there's anybody out there new to radio who's wondering why can't I put more power through it, what will happen, or how will I know I'm putting too much power through it, is a better way to ask that. If you're operating, you're calling CQ and things are going well for 10, 15 minutes, and you're kind of paying attention to your standing wave ratio, and all of a sudden you start to get these weird fluctuations in standing wave ratio, you've heated up or reached the curry point of your toroid. And it's at that point where you're no longer having a stable, your standing wave ratio is going to jump around because it's so hot. You're not going to get a reliable reading, if you will. Yep, SWR goes through the roof. Hey, Ranting Raven, what's up? I had K6ARKs and fed halfway out over the winter before he had them to the public. And I was like, I wonder what would happen if I put 20 watts through this thing. I wonder what would happen if I put 30 watts through this thing. It got hot quick.
Yeah. Oh, that little guy he makes?
Yeah.
That would do. Okay. So it's not pretty, but it's there.
Ah, good enough for me.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So
I put a big blob on it just because I wanted to make sure it was there right. Okay.
now what I recommend is I'm saving the part I hate the worst for last. But we have the end that's now going to go onto the actual antenna itself. And that's your other open end of the magnet wire. Now you're going to cut that short enough so you could just adjoin the magnet wire to the antenna wire. Does that make sense?
All right. I was fixing my camera. I'm sorry. Say that
Oh,
again.
you're fine. You're going to take the magnet wire that's closest to the antenna wire now.
This one right here. This long
You
one?
got it. And you're going to cut it in a spot where it could still connect to or reach the actual antenna wire that you have there. Because now we're going to bond those two together.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And obviously then you're going to sand off a little bit, make sure it's nice and clean. We're removing the enamel. I know you know this, but just anybody at home, we're removing the enamel so there's actual continuity between the two, or a better connection between the two.
Correct.
And then this is where I have the heat shrink stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And so after
you put it over this part,
you could if you wanted to. It's more of a aesthetically pleasing kind of deal.
Yeah, but it's going to be behind this.
Hey, Ellen, am I hotter on the mic than Jason is? And if so, I can lower my volume.
That could be because I'm just kind of off the mic right here.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, N0HR 100 watts digital mode will definitely be too much. That's 100% guarantee. In my testings of previous configurations with 16 gauge magnet wire, 70 watts maybe 85 watts lasted like 10 minutes. And this was at Hamcation. Dave says, I've been working on a similar design for QRP. You might want to include holes in the bottom to let water out. Oh, that on version 1, I had it.
Let water out. Okay. All right. So there, and heat shrink like that. I'm going to cut my heat shrink a little bit. There's that. Good. Okay. That should be doable right there. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, let's do it this way. Give myself some extra room here.
Sure.
Then I can
you know, and
through later.
As you're doing that, I'm going to explain in the chat one more thing here. One of the reasons I made sure that I kind of have these tighter on the winding, and I don't think that Jason's going to have a problem, but we'll find out, is
we'll find out.
Again, just to make sure that it fits once the case goes on top. And you hear that nice snap in there, right? Mm-hmm. But given the fact that I did use 16 gauge wire and it worked fine, I think Jason will have no problem. Do I know the total weight? Well, the total weight of the actual winder itself is 52 grams. I could find out the total weight here. Give me just 1 second, okay?
Ooh, it's hot. Okay, let's do this thing.
.6 ounces. And that's a good segue for tonight. Tonight, I'm going to have Charlie Red Summit RF on my live stream at 7 p.m. Central Time. And I'm kind of inquiring on Charlie on how does he keep it light when he's doing his summits on the air activations or he's doing his hiking, because Charlie does a lot of hiking in the Arizona desert. And I got to imagine that there's amongst having your radio gear in there. And I'm very curious to see how he makes it all work.
It's a big blob of solder. That doesn't look good at all. Fix that, clean that up a bit.
Mike wants to know if they're thumb screws on the top case panel, and they're actually not. They're just a little bit out right now because I have it unscrewed, but they're kind of like hex screws, and there it is. Basically, they go straight into the case, which is threaded, and then once in place, you could just screw them down, and you know, since they're threaded, they'll lock into place, nice and flush on the case too.
Okay, done. It's not pretty, but it is pretty tight on there. So
that's why I like the shrink wrap, because you can hide it.
Yeah, I think my blob of solder is bigger than the shrink wrap though.
Yeah,
actually,
don't worry.
I think the shrink wrap shrunk a little bit because I got the soldering iron too close to it, but no worries on that. So
I mean, as long as you have continuity, it should be all right. To be fair.
Right. Okay. All right, we're there.
Okay, cool. Now, you know, realistically, the next part, we don't really need to worry about the antenna portion, right? Because you'll do that in the field at some point.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to do that in the field.
So the next part is to do two things. It's just like the Jason's NFET half wave, but we need to take that the primary, and we need to have that go to two places: one to ground, and then off the ground with the capacitor to the BNC. So, right, you got it. So you got a little hole there,
right?
Yep. Okay. You got a little hole there, and you should have also had. I hope you had those. Did you have any ring terminals that I sent with you?
No.
Well, that's a fail on my part. I could have sworn I sent a ring terminal.
Not this.
Nope,
you don't mean this, right? Yeah.
Nah, they're kind of, you know, they're little ring terminals, and then they would go over screws.
Right. No, nothing like that.
I suspect, though, what you could do is you can continue to wind the toroid, and then shave away the inside. Yeah, shave away where the loop is on that magnet wire, right where your finger was. Yep, right, shave that away, and then we'll put it through the ground counterpoise for now, and then we'll solder our capacitor on there. So there should have been a ring terminal there.
Okay. So am I soldering the capacitor to the ground on the BNC?
That's
and then one side of this also there?
Well, one side, yeah. See, that's going to be a difficult thing, though. One side should go to the ground, and then the other side should go capacitor to the BNC there.
So what are you considering to be ground then?
Oh, my apologies. I kept saying ground counterpoise. Yeah, so we have the ground left, and we're going to have one small wire. So we'll cut a little bit of that. Cut a little bit more of that antenna wire off, just a little bit. No, don't cut that.
Okay.
That
this antenna wire?
Yeah, you could use that one just a little bit, though. You only need a little jumper wire. I'll show you what I did there.
Oh, you want more? Okay. I see what you're saying.
Again, that's an old one, but same thing.
Okay. Right here.
Yeah, and then just strip away a little bit from each side. The case, John, amateur radio on the air is not waterproof. It's a little bit more water resistant. Oh, just like Phil said. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So when you got those two kind of stripped away a little bit, a little jumper wire, go ahead and solder one onto the BNC ground lug. There we go.
Okay.
Hopefully that was a little more clarified in my
Yes. I get what you're going now. Is it okay for the capacitor to be in there as well?
Take the capacitor out. My apology.
Okay. Take that out for now. Okay. All right. So one side in there. I hate soldering left-handed. I really do.
And Nick, you want to know how is the giveaway happening? Here in just a few moments. I'm assuming we're just going to.
We'll figure something out with the random number generator.
Yeah. I have a random number in my mind, probably is what we're thinking. But yeah, we'll figure it out here in just a moment.
Ooh, there it is. Okay. Okay. All right, that's there.
Okay, awesome. So now we have that jumper wire and the other side of that jumper wire that you just soldered on the ground lug. This is where, can you move your part up a little bit? There we go.
Yeah.
Cool. So that other end of the ground wire, yep, you got it. That little jumper wire we made, that's going to go to the primary that is looped right now on the bottom of your, next to your left finger. You got it. So
that's right here.
So again, we typically would have a ring terminal that would go at the end of that loop, but we don't. So what you could do is go ahead and, I don't want to say cut it.
Do you put the ring terminal over both pieces?
Well, typically what we do in the past is, here, let me break this off real quick.
All right.
Typically what we do in the past is I would have one of the primary wires leads go to the ground, and then the other one I would have kind of venture off into the capacitor and then to the ground lug, you see. So I would have, it shouldn't matter, to be honest with you. Okay. So what I'm saying is take that loop and tighten it up a little bit more, kind of twist it a little bit more.
Okay. Let me switch back over here. Okay, so I'm gonna twist this a little bit more. Okay.
Cool. And then what we're going to want to do is at that point, that looks good for now.
Okay.
Take your knife inside of that loop area at the end of that primary. Okay. And scrape away. Bring it. You're going to scrape away some of that enamel wire. Nope. Down more toward your left hand.
Down towards the loop.
Right. Exactly. Okay. We're trying to make that open, remove the enamel wire, so we have continuity to the ground lug or the counterpoise lug.
So I'm not going to cut the loop off.
No, don't. Yeah, don't shave there. Shave at the bottom of the loop. You just want to shave it like here. Let me show you real quick. So if I have that loop, kind of like you do, use your knife to scrape off the inside portion here and here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Enough to get some kind of connection.
Okay. You know, I have a bunch of sandpaper somewhere, but I couldn't find it before the build the other night, so I guess I'm gonna have to go buy some more. Okay, that's part here.
So at this point too, yeah, I'm surprised, and my apologies, I didn't send you a ring connector. I got these waterproof ones here. I'll send you one though in the mail.
Well, you know what? I bet I've got some of those, and you know, we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes now, which is typically longer than my lunchtime stream. So
yeah, no problem. So all you're going to do there is once you get that ring terminal, and I can send it if you want, you're going to put it through the internal portion of the case. You know, your actual nut or your bolt. It's going to go through the internal portion, but in between the case and the bolt is going to go your ring terminal, which is, you can then cut that wire, that loop wire that you just scraped away. You can put one end into the ground or the counterpoise.
So it's grounding to the bolt that holds this pad on.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, so the ring terminal goes over.
Now, yep, you got it. So, and one of the things I want to mention there too is you can see that you don't have anything on, your holes aren't all the way through, right?
Correct. Yeah, it is on that one, but not the rest of them.
They pop easily. So that's kind of done. So if you don't want to thread it or do any of that, you could just pop it on and it's fine. Either way, it's fine. But yeah.
I see.
Sorry, that's not really related. But yeah, all you're going to have to do is when you get that ring terminal, you're going to go ahead and solder one end of that primary that's looped. Yep, to the ring terminal.
To the ring terminal.
Okay, and then with the other one, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to solder the capacitor on there as well.
to the
And,
other to the
I-
other end.
You got it.
Okay.
And then I have a diagram here if this is going to help you. So let me see if I can't pull up the screen here real quick.
Okay.
This has been all around the internet, and it's K1TA has this awesome little guide here. How do I share the screen? There we go. Oh, you disabled it.
No, you should do it now. I just turned it on.
All right, give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the super chat, Rick. Appreciate you being here today.
All right, there we go. I can't see you anymore, but I think you could see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, K1ATA or K1TA, excuse me. He made this little thing here. And so what I'm trying to show you is basically you're going to have one end go out to your ground lug, for example. And then you're going to have one that goes in between the one you cut and your TX, essentially.
Yeah, that's kind of like this one from last night or Sunday night, rather.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Okay.
So if you have any questions on that, though, when you get to that point, let me know. I'll send you one of those ring connectors.
Okay. I bet I've got one in my arsenal out there somewhere. I just don't have it with me right now. Okay. So ring terminal there, ground, and the ground for the BNC goes with that ground with the screw in the case here. With this.
Yep.
And then okay. All right.
Now entertain me though. Now that you have pretty much everything together in there, besides that ring terminal, are you able to close the case and will it click into place? And one thing I want to mention before you try is if you look on the bottom of the top case that's going to click on, I made a little bit of a groove for where the B and C will go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do see that. Yeah.
That side where there's a groove, and let me see if I can't just pop it out real quick here. This is a 3D printed version, so I use this by hand. But one side is going to have a little bit of a notch. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I see it.
So it should be able to notch into place and click into place and be good.
Yeah, with this loop sticking out.
Sure.
It's not going to do that right now.
Okay.
But I think you were wondering about the toroid. The toroid is certainly low enough and flush enough in there to get the case on it. Yes. To get
awesome. That's all I was. Yes. Yeah. That's all I was really concerned about.
That's the important thing, right? So yeah.
Yep. You got it.
So yeah, that will definitely work because the toroid fits in there just fine. So I just got to ground it with the ring terminal, and the capacitor, and that's it. Now, where does this wing nut for the?
Once you, for example, I'm going to switch to stainless steel. I think. Let me know in the chat if you guys have any other opinions on that. But basically, once you go through with your bolt, the wing nut's going to just go on here, and that way, when you have your counterpoise wire, you get another ring terminal, and you could connect or disconnect it relatively quickly. Sorry, I wasn't showing it.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I see it.
But anyway, like I said, the potential's there for just a case where you could build yourself a 9-to-1, relatively simple. Yeah. And I think as you kind of get everything ready to, we'll give 2 of these away. I'll do full kits, and I will even include the ring terminal. While we do that, I'm going to go grab a toroid for a 9-to-1 and just make sure it would fit too. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Let me figure out how to do this because I haven't done this before with an on-the-fly type giveaway like this. Let's see. Go that way. And
all right. Oh yeah, a 9-to-1 is so much smaller. It would definitely fit.
Oh yeah. This is a 49-to-1.
It is. I'm sorry, I said a 9-to-1. Yeah, that's a T140-43, and then the 9-to-1 or the ones I use for 9-to-1 is like a T106-2. I think it is.
Yeah.
And so it's significantly smaller.
Good. Okay. Let me figure out how to do this because
I could almost fit the 9-to-1 toroid inside the T140-43.
Oh wow, it's tiny.
Yeah,
that's the one that's probably the one that Adam has.
Then there's Adam's, which is I'm not going to take it out of the case because I will lose it.
Oh yeah.
Boy, I'm over contrast today. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Okay. All right, good.
The code monk. We could imagine a ring terminal on it, and you could add it later. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I need to snip this solder piece off.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna, if it's the same as this, then it should be.
It's the same, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. So,
And so as you're starting to do the giveaway, everything for the giveaway, I'm going to mention a couple more things about the case here. You have this ability to essentially get like elastic wire or get any kind of cable 550 cord and wrap it around like a tree. Okay. So you could use your imagination. You could wrap it this way. You could probably even use like a pin or a small nail and put it through a tree if you wanted to. Don't do that. Actually, I don't. some tree organization is going to come after me now.
Yeah.
But realistically, another cool thing that I kind of want to mention. I do a lot of parks in the air from picnic benches.
Yeah.
And typically, what I'll do is I'll have the sloper configuration come down, and at the picnic bench table that goes like this, I actually let the weight of the sloper pulling it, and I kind of put it on the table at an angle, and it pulls it up, right?
Yeah.
And so I have my sloper here, and then my wire comes out to my radio. It just makes it really easy. It kind of almost like it clicks into place, right?
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. So what we could do is we could do a giveaway on Discord if you're on my Discord server, and I could set it to like end like an hour from now, so that people who don't have on my may not be on my Discord server could join for free. I mean, it's free to join Discord, and then we'll do that from there. We could do it that way, because this random number generator, the only way I've ever used it is to have people pre-sign up on an email list prior to that.
Sure.
So I don't have any way to know who's in the chat, who's not in the chat, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. My apologies too. And like I'm used to StreamYard, so I was like, oh yeah, we could just do a giveaway. That doesn't really work out.
I've not found a way. I haven't looked for it in a long time, but I've not found a way to do that with OBS yet. I should look and see if there's a plugin for that, because it'd be a really good way to do that. Let's see.
I'm Googling something real quick too, because I thought there was a one time.
I mean, you can do random number generator, which is what I have up right now, but it's like, how do you get people to go in there and do that?
Sure. I totally understand that. Let me just see.
How do you add sign up?
Yeah, if that's the best thing for you, no problem. I'll let you handle it. Just let me know who's won, and I'll ship them out. And I'm going to give away tonight. I have Red Summit RF on my live stream, and I'm going to give away one during that live stream as well, probably somewhere in the middle. Okay. And I have a random, I have
you have the StreamYard generator, so that's it's easier to do than the way I do it. So, okay, all right. So everyone go to let me make sure this is still right.
Thank you, N. Spencer. Appreciate it, and thank you very much for the compliment. There was another person in there with thank you for the compliments, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Jason.
Hey, sure. Yeah, I've been wanting to build this for a while, so I'm glad you sent it to me, and I'm glad we almost got it done. But the finishing touches won't be too difficult, so that's fine. That's just fine. Okay. So, I just shared the link to my Discord in there. Everyone go sign up on the Discord. I will put, once you're in Discord, one of the top channels is called giveaways. And and I'll put a giveaway, there's a giveaway bot I have. So I haven't added it yet. When I add it, I'll put like a 1 hour maximum on it, and I'll give away 2 of these end-fed half-wave antennas. And then all you do is you go click on the icon under the bot and make sure that it's there. So go join Discord, make sure you're in there, and then I'll do a giveaway for that here in just as soon as we shut down the stream, I'll put it up there so you guys will see it pop up pretty quick. But yeah, nice. Sean, thanks for your time today. This was good. I always like doing build videos. I haven't done one in a long time before last Sunday. I mean,
yeah.
And sometimes people come by the channel and are like, "Hey, do some more build videos." I'm like, "Yeah, that's a really good idea." So
yeah, I appreciate you having me on. I'm definitely. It helps me out a lot too, right? Because I have to think about how to explain something to somebody, but also things that I may have missed or overlooked. We learned a lot from the chat today too, and I think that's what this is all about, right? Is really just learning as we go along and having a good time doing it. So thank you for having me on. I went ahead and I posted my live stream link for tonight, just so anybody who wants to potentially win one more could potentially win one more. And Red Summit RF is a great, great guy, great host. So thanks, Jason, for having me on. Let me know if you have any questions with it too.
Yeah. Will do, man. I appreciate it. Thanks again for your time today. And we'll see you on the stream tonight. So
yeah, man.
All right. Everyone have a good one. Go check the Discord. I'm going to post that here in just a minute. So 73 to all.